Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Bob Schwartz.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Welcome to Imagine, and welcome to Vegas, baby. Here we go. First things first, let's have a hand for our Magento customer, David Brandrowski from Daring Banjo, and, if you didn't know, George Grove from the Kingston Trio. You out there, a lot of you might be a little young to understand Kingston Trio, but you'll Google it later on today. Holy schmoly, look how many people there are out here. Over 1,200 of you. We had so many people, such high demand, that we had to shift to this brand new venue to increase the capacity. Two words come to mind when I think about having that kind of demand on the Magento brand and on Imagine 2012. Thank you. But since we're here in Vegas, let me do it this way. Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, if you're young, Google it. We've taken over the entire resort here. The big marquee outside has two of my favorite things. It has the Magento brand and logo, and it has an all-you-can-eat buffet being advertised. It doesn't get any better than that. We're in Vegas. In honor of being in Vegas, two members of our audience are about to win big. Would Zachary Sapersky and Jean-Francois Galano, who I met last night, or I saw last night, please stand up and identify yourself. Zachary, Jean, there's one. We got the other one here. You were the first two people to register for Imagine 2012, and as a token of our thanks, we are comping your registration fee. And why don't the three of us get together later on? We'll meet down in the lobby, go down to the casino, and see how we can invest that. And actually, I know Jean-Francois shared a little story with me last night at the party. He said he got here and had no luggage. So Jean-Francois, you can go shopping now, at least. So what's your story? What's your story? That's the question we're asking here at Imagine. It seems like any time we get together with customers, with partners, and the community, we're blown away by the stories we hear from them. Not just the stories of success with Magento, but also the stories of where you come, where you've come from and what you want to do next. So we decided to make this conference about your stories. We picked a theme that will help you engage with each other. I'm not sure that that's a problem with this crowd. Here's how. Anytime you see someone, walk up to them and say, "Hey, what's your story?" It's that simple. Imagine 2012 is about sharing stories and preparing to write new ones. Conversations we are beginning here may just lead to the next big success story. And since this meeting is about stories, let's start by meeting the main characters, you. You're an amazing group of people. You're changing the world of e-commerce. You're a balance of merchants, solution providers, and technology providers. You represent leading brands and top retailers. You're a group that's building the most innovative and successful e-commerce businesses in the world, and your businesses are growing very, very, very quickly. You've come from over 30 countries from around the globe, from Spain to Vietnam and Latvia, to be here at Imagine 2012. You look fit. In fact, you're losing weight. Right? And actually this year we're giving you a t-shirt, if you remember last year. And this look fit, I saw probably no less than 20 people down in the workout room, so I know why this. In our registration, we asked, what do you love most about Magento? We mapped your responses, and obviously, you love flexibility and the community of Magento. We also asked, what word best describes your success since meeting Magento? Customers, growth, and sales. You couldn't ask for better success attributes than those. Thanks to everyone who responded to that survey, and I think the results tell a very powerful story. But nothing is more powerful than hearing the individual stories that you bring with you. Several of you were kind enough to share your stories with us over the past couple weeks. We'll be expressing these stories and presenting them over the next 2 days. And right now, I'd like to share a sneak preview of what's to come.
I wanted to be a fireman. Everybody loves a fireman.
I worked, when I was 8, I was working in a pet store selling saltwater fish, so I've almost always been in sales.
Out of high school, I was much more into science and math. I built electrons out of wires, and they kind of rotated around the nucleus.
When I was 15, I started a DJ service, and that kind of began my entrepreneurial journey. And I put my friends and family to work for me on the weekends and went out and did gigs. My favorite record of all time is probably something by Hall & Oates. I love Hall & Oates.
I started out thinking about the kind of business I wanted to build, and the first thing that came to me was that I wanted to solve a problem that people actually had. It needed to be a big problem. I felt like it needed to be something that I cared about personally.
All I cared about was being involved in skating, BMX, freestyle. The culture that surrounded that was stickers and zines and hardcore music and punk. All that kind of stuff had real graphic messaging and a lot of visual communication. So that stuff just resonated with me and kept me alive, kept me going.
I had this knack for building really bad websites.
They couldn't run their website very well, and so I felt bad for my dad and started working for him because I thought I could do better than what they had been doing. It's nice to, it's nice to be a good son and work hard. That's like the main motivation. Everybody wants to make their dad happy, right? I get to make him more money and make him happy at the same time.
I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. My parents are entrepreneurs, my grandparents were entrepreneurs. My dad owns a company that does doors, frames, and hardware, and I knew I didn't want to necessarily do that because doors, frames, and hardware aren't that exciting, but I wanted to be in the startup space.
I love that every day and every week the internet is changing and it's a new challenge.
I like the possibility of what I do.
I'd always had it, like when I was successful and I was done working, that I would start doing things that were good. I was kind of inspired by the idea that you could do both at the same time.
When I realized that you could find other people that were much more talented than you were to kind of put together to create a team, that's how we started this. I still would like to go back to being a fireman maybe at some point later.
So we'll be hearing more of their stories and others as we go through the next couple days. And my guess is the people that did those for us had no idea they were going to show up on a 45 by 27 foot screen. But after I saw that video, I felt like I should grow a beard to fit in, right? One of our designers mocked this up. Take a look. What do you think? Huh? Should I keep it? No, I don't think so either. Hey, my first order of business today is to introduce Roy. I met Magento and I met Roy Rubin about 4 years ago. I was a customer and they built our site on Magento. I loved the products and I loved working with Roy. So when he asked me to join the company, I jumped in. It's been an amazing experience working with Roy over the past 4 years. And I consider him a very good friend, and it's with deep pride, and it's a privilege, that I introduce Roy Rubin.
Wow, wow, wow. So exciting to be here. Can you believe this? This is just unbelievable. We're so excited to have you, 1,300 folks from 35 plus countries. Unbelievable. I wish I could bottle the energy that this community generates. There's absolutely nothing like this in the market. Incredible. I want to thank all of you for being here. And as Bob said, we're here to share your stories. Without all of you, there is no story. And we've been clear about that since the first day. And I think it's fitting that we put you at the center of this conference. But what's most important to me are there stories you want to write next. And that's why the focus of this morning's session is how Magento and X.commerce will help you write the next great chapter in your story. We'll start with a look at the Magento story, a story that all of you helped to write. And after that, I'll be introducing Matthew Mengerink, the head of X.commerce. Matthew will talk about the vision for X.commerce, but I do want to tell you in advance. The vision for X.commerce and the story of X.commerce is hands down the best story in the entire commerce landscape. Following Matthew, I'll share some announcements as well as some of our plans for the future. And tomorrow morning, I'll be back here to take a look at some of eBay's capabilities that will expand the horizons for all of us in the very near future. It's been about 9 months since we became part of eBay, and I cannot wait to see how joining forces with eBay is going to make our lives so much richer and more exciting for all of us. Now, a lot of you have heard the Magento story of how Magento came to be, but it's my favorite story, so I'll share it with you again. In fact, I love telling the story so much, I tell it to my children at bedtime. Yes, and we do have Magento wallpaper at home, and we will begin to sell it using a Magento store, so stay tuned for that. For those that haven't heard our story, I'll share with you that it has two key themes. The first is momentum. As you'll see, momentum captures the essence of what's happening in our business and in our ecosystem. The other theme is obsession. That's right, obsession. This story is about our obsession with helping merchants succeed. And as far as obsessions go, I think it's a pretty healthy one. It helped a lot of merchants, partners, and developers do more business. So this story is about how obsession and momentum are transforming an industry and paving the way for an incredible future. Once upon a time, I ran a small web development company. We were building e-commerce sites for merchants using the open source platforms that were available at the time. And as our customer base grew, we heard more and more stories of merchants who were frustrated with technology. Every merchant's story is different, but we kept hearing the same themes over and over again. E-commerce held the promise to transform their business, but in reality, it was getting in the way. It was costly, and it was time-consuming to build a great online experience. And once the store was launched, it was cumbersome to make the updates and enhancements needed to stay current. Keep in mind, These were our customers talking. Our days were filled with their stories, their needs, and their frustrations. Our very survival depended on their success. And that's how I became obsessed with helping these merchants succeed. All right. Didn't expect that one. We realized that we couldn't help maximize their success with the technology that existed. So we had to build something better, a platform that would change the arc of these stories by helping merchants and developers instead of frustrating them. We had a few clear guidelines that shaped the development of Magento. We thought big right from the start. And our goal was to enable e-commerce everywhere. To do that, we knew our platform would need to be flexible and customizable so that developers could shape it to fit the specific needs of every single merchant. And we knew that Magento would need to be open. Our feeling was that if we built a solid foundation and kept the architecture and ecosystem open, then others would come in, would build on it, would extend it, and bring in the complementary technologies that would help it succeed. And that's how our story began. Now, things started getting interesting when we released the platform. What we know today as the Magento Community Edition was our first offering. Free, open source, and radically better than anything the market has ever seen. People downloaded our software, and they fell in love. Even before Magento generated its first success stories, we were hearing love stories. Developers loved the power it gave them and the time it saved them. Merchants loved that they could finally create the stores that they wanted. And the momentum began to build. Small merchants that built stores on Magento expanded their business and became mid-sized merchants. Then larger companies discovered that they were paying way too much for e-commerce solutions that couldn't touch the power and flexibility of Magento. With this momentum came new stories. As our customer base became larger and more sophisticated, many of them said, "We love the software, but we need more comprehensive services." To meet this need, we created the Magento Enterprise Edition. This is our leading commercial solution and the offering that has been such a disruptive force in the market, providing a robust, enterprise-class e-commerce solution at a price that makes it accessible to merchants of every size. We've continued to improve and enhance this product with every release in the past 3 years. Merchants love the Magento Enterprise Edition, and they let us know. Here's what Andy Stroman of campsaver.com, here's what he wrote to us.
Sales were up 60% last year, the first year on Magento. When sales are growing, my life is improving, and so is my sleep.
And here's what we heard from another merchant, Darren Johnson of Lovesec.
Magento helps me sleep at night and spend more time with my family.
Hey, turns out Magento is a sleep aid. Who knew? I love hearing stories like these. And as an entrepreneur myself, I know what it's like to lose sleep over your business. But you know what? I also know what it's like to sleep soundly when business is good. Let's hear from another enterprise merchant in this video.
The first thing I ever sold was subscriptions to the Miami Herald. I went door to door when I was 5 years old. When I was 8, I was working in a pet store selling saltwater fish, trying to win trips to Disneyland or Disney World and things like that. Well, I dropped out of high school in 1983. And I joined the Navy. So when I got out of the military, I had to start a company. We're an online store selling products to new moms, families with children from newly pregnant through later grade school. And our focus is on helping moms select products that are healthy and safe and useful and cost-effective for their entire families. I'd always had it like when I was successful and I was done working that I would start doing things that were good. I was kind of inspired by the idea that you could do both at the same time. I started out thinking about the kind of business I wanted to build, and the first thing that came to me was that I wanted to solve a problem that people actually had. It needed to be a big problem. I felt like it needed to be something that I cared about personally. We looked at every option that was out there. I was sort of biased towards Magento already because I knew that there was a lot of functionality there. And the feature set for me just felt complete enough. We sort of think of it like a big giant box of e-commerce Lego. You can make almost anything you want out of it. So the next couple of years, I hope to be building a big company, probably starting a family with my wife, helping her get through med school by getting out of her way. And somewhere in there, I'm challenging myself to pass the bar exam. It's a good thing to do when I'm at the gym. I just take my iPad, put it on the elliptical trainer, and study for the bar.
Hey, Jody, I know you're here. Congratulations on all your success. Thanks again, Jody. You rock, and congratulations, of course, on all your success. Our Magento Enterprise customer list is incredibly diverse. We love that around the world, merchants of every size and across dozens of industries are succeeding with the Magento Enterprise Edition. This gives you a flavor for the scope of our merchant base. And we have thousands and thousands more. In fact, we doubled our enterprise merchant base since the last Imagine conference. Our momentum continues to accelerate as more merchants create their stories with Magento Enterprise. Next, I want to share with you some data that shows just how far our momentum has taken us in the market. In February, a UK developer, Tom Robertshaw, released the latest edition of his e-commerce quarterly survey. Now, what Tom does, he looks, and the survey looks at all sites in the Alexa 1 million that are doing e-commerce and then analyzes those sites to identify which platform is being used. The survey found that 20% of all e-commerce sites in the Alexa 1 million were using Magento. A higher share, yes, I like that. A higher share than any other e-commerce platform in the market. Now think about that. A platform that's just over 4 years old, leading the market with a 20% share. Who could have ever imagined? Tom's company, Meanbee, is a Magento solution partner, and Tom is here with us in the audience. Hey, Tom, are you anywhere close? There you are. Thanks, Tom. I really appreciate your work. Congratulations. I thought about saying that as a valued Magento community member, Tom is 1 in a million, but the reality is that, Tom, you are 1 in 800,000. That's right, the Magento community numbers over 800,000 members. It's doubled since the last Imagine conference. And more important than the numbers is the passion of this community. Turns out many of these community members shape our obsession with helping merchants succeed. These Magento enthusiasts form communities around the world. They put on amazing events that help attract even more great people to our ecosystem. A few community events were held around this conference, including a bar camp, a great party around the pool, and a half-marathon run. Some of our community leaders from around the world are here with us. Let's have them stand up. Sherry, Guido, Brent, Rhonda, Thomas, Bastian, Philippe, Rico, Hirakuzu, Kimberly, Karen. You guys are the true Magento celebrities. Thanks for joining us and making the trip over. We love you guys. Magento's success has created opportunity for developers to build extensions for our software. As the number and the popularity of extensions grew, we created our marketplace, Magento Connect. Connect makes it easy for developers to list and for merchants to discover extensions. We launched a new and improved version of Connect in October, and the marketplace's popularity has continued to soar. Since the last Imagine conference, the number of extensions offered in Connect grew by 73%. There are now more than 5,600 extensions offered in Connect, including for the first time, extensions for Magento Go. The number of developers contributing extensions also increased to 2,500. Now, this marketplace will play an even bigger role in our growth going forward as extensions from X.commerce come online, opening up new areas of enhancing Magento's functionality. Stay tuned for that. As Magento's popularity and adoption exploded, we started hearing stories that went like this.
We want and need the power of Magento, but we need a simpler, more affordable way to get it.
Blaze is a small merchant. They have 2 physical stores in New York City. They know they need to be online, but they're not yet ready to invest in an enterprise-level solution. So we set out to create a solution that would meet the needs of small and micro merchants for an easier and affordable hosted platform. And in Imagine 2011, we launched Magento Go. Thousands of merchants have adopted this solution. And at the very same time, we've gotten valuable experience running Magento in a multi-tenant environment. Earlier this morning, you met Deering Banjo, a great example of a merchant that's succeeding with Magento Go. And you know, it turns out that small and micro merchants are hungry for the features and functionality that Magento Go offers. And at prices that start at $15 a month, Magento Go is the best value in the marketplace, period. Over the past year, we introduced dozens of enhancements to Go, including the availability of extensions, the ability for Go merchants to sell on eBay, as well as a host of other resources to help with onboarding and enhancing your store. It's clear that the cloud will become a bigger part of our strategy and probably yours in the years ahead. And with Magento Go, we're in the cloud in a big way today. Magento's rapid adoption created demand for merchants who wanted help customizing, deploying, and taking full advantage of Magento. And we realized that to effectively serve all these merchants, we are going to need partners. At the same time, hundreds of systems integrators and web agencies were approaching us, wanting to get involved with this Magento phenomenon that they were hearing so much about. And that's how the Magento Solution Partner Program got started. Today, solution partners are a critically important resource for Magento merchants. We keep adding partners to our network to make it easier for businesses to get the design, to get the development, and deployment help they need. In fact, we now have almost 400 solution partners in our network. And we didn't just increase the number of partners. We also helped our partners grow their revenue. In fact, our average partner revenue grew by 35% between 2010 and 2011, with many of our top partners generating even higher numbers than that. Now, these metrics are fantastic. They're great. But what's more important to us and to our merchant is the quality of our solutions partner services. And to help partners maximize this quality, we're placing a great emphasis on education and certification. As part of earning and maintaining silver and gold partner status, partners will be required to have their developers earn Magento certification. And if you follow our blog or monitor Twitter, you've seen a bit of an arms race in the partner world when it comes to who has the most Magento developers. That's an arms race that we fully support because in the end, all of these partners and their customers will benefit. Why? Well, it's actually really, really simple. Because certified developers help merchants succeed. We launched our industry partner program last year to help increase the visibility of companies that develop applications, extensions, and integrations for our software. The program has been a huge success. We now have over 89 partners in our network. Many of the Imagine sponsors are also Magento industry partners, so make sure to check out their outstanding services right here in the marketplace after the session and throughout the next couple of days. The more power and more sophistication we added to our products, the more we heard from merchants and partners and developers who were eager to get the training and education on how to make the most of Magento. To meet this need, we launched Magento U, our training and education group. We announced Magento U's creation at Imagine of 2011. And what an amazing year they've had. Now, I want to warn you, I get really excited about this because training and education plays right into my obsession. Merchants succeed when they have well-trained developers and managers. The top story when it comes to Magento U was the creation and launch of our world-class developer certification program. We worked with an independent advisory board of Magento experts to create certification exams to test real-world Magento development skills. We rolled out the program in late December across the world so that developers can take the exam in a proctored environment at more than 5,000 testing centers around the world. In less than 4 months, hundreds of developers have earned their certification badge. And even more exciting, over 4,000 developers have downloaded study guides, which we're excited about, as a sure sign that the ranks of Magento certified developers will continue to swell in the months ahead. If you're a partner or a merchant who hires Magento developers, do yourself a favor. Hire certified developers. It's the single best way of ensuring developers truly know Magento. In fact, let's go live to Roy Rubin, one of our sales leaders, who's here in the audience to meet a certified developer.
Thank you, Roy. And I'm here with one of our Magento certified developers all the way from Germany, Fabian Blechschmidt. Welcome.
Hi. My story is I'm a freelancer from Germany. I work actually for 2 agencies and can support 2 shops while they grow.
Why get certified?
Because to get certified is a good chance to show the customer what I know, and it's a good marketing for me and Magento.
What do you recommend some of the other developers out here in the house?
I think it's a good thing to prepare before the certification and learn your stuff.
Well, that's definitely important. Was it difficult?
Oh, yes. I think it was difficult, but when you know what you're doing and when you're prepared, it's you can get it.
Fantastic. What are you most looking forward to here at Imagine?
It's cool to meet nice people and hear about cool stuff, and I look forward to meet more cool people.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on getting certified, and good luck. Back to you, Roy.
Congratulations, Fabian. Congratulations. I love that tip. When you know what you're doing, you'll do well. So that's a tip for all of us. Certification was just one highlight from Magento U in the past year. We also offered classes in 12 cities on 4 continents, introduced 8 new courses, and made some of them available online in our new learning management system. All told, more than 25,000 merchants, developers, and our partners have registered for a Magento U course. Absolutely incredible. Thanks to the growth of Magento U and our solution partner network, there are now a growing number of Magento experts out there. But sometimes, even the experts need to consult an expert. That's why we created Magento's Expert Consulting Group. ECG is our internal group of experts offering consulting services to partners and to merchants. ECG completed more than 100 engagements since we launched the program back in Imagine last year. Some of our most sophisticated partners and merchants called upon ECG over the past year to help with complex site migrations, optimizations, code reviews, and other services. ECG played a key role in some of the largest and most complex deployments in the market. They are truly the world's leading Magento experts. If you're a partner or a merchant who wants to get a better idea of what ECG is about, drop by the Ask Magento area and sign up for a free consult with a member of the ECG team. Free advice from the experts right here at Imagine. What a great deal. Come by and learn more about this unique service. We've covered some of the highlights of our history. We talked about our momentum. And I like to think about all that as chapter 1 of our story. Here's where things get even more interesting. As we were building and launching and growing Magento, a bunch of folks at a company in San Jose were looking at the future of commerce. The company had become a commerce giant, but by paying close attention to what buyers and sellers wanted. Hey, it turns out that their vision for the future of commerce had a lot to do with ours. But that's another story, and to tell it, I'd like to bring up Matthew Mengerink to talk about the future of X.commerce.
Thank you, Roy. First, let me say, it's great to be in a room filled with so many people who are just so passionate about Magento. My goodness, it's amazing. I'm looking forward to hearing more of your stories, and more importantly, I'm really looking forward to writing some new ones with you. They've asked me to tell you guys a little bit about myself. When you say obsessive, that fit really, really well with who I am. You saw the mushroom hunting. In my free time, I go up into the Santa Cruz Mountains and I hunt for mushrooms. And they're anything from the oysters that you saw up there, chanterelles, black trumpets, and others. And one person asked me one day, he said, hunt mushrooms? Do they run from you? Do they fight back? He said, I don't think you can call hunting anything where you just go pick something off the ground. I've been married for 21 years. I have 5 children. I've been in San Jose for the last 10 years. And just real quickly, by show of hands, how many of you have had the last 17 years of employment uninterrupted without quitting a job? Raise your hand. I see about 7, 8, 10 hands. You're together with me. I have actually not quit a job for 17 years. Started in 1995 at a little place called Deja News, or Deja.com for you old geeks in the room. And from there have come all the way through Half.com, eBay, PayPal, and now X.commerce with Magento. And it's been a fabulous ride. My background was the computer science degree at the University of Texas, as well as a degree in mathematics. And I remember very fondly coveting my friend's 486 when it first came out, and looking forward to installing my Linux installation on his old 386, which is what I could afford at the time. So a geek and been a part of the internet for a very long time. Now the other story I want to tell you is one that runs parallel with the one that Roy just shared. As you know, eBay's core competency is about connecting buyers and sellers. We're leading the way in social and in mobile and digital trends, and are creating a seismic change in commerce today. While the Magento team was transforming e-commerce with their platform, eBay was taking a hard look at this global commerce landscape. Now, what we saw was fundamental shifts. John Donahoe talks about commerce being at an inflection point. A few months ago, he made a prediction. He said, we'll see more change in how consumers shop and pay online in the next 3 years than we've seen in the last 15. So as we saw these changes coming, we did a whole lot of listening to buyers and sellers to understand how these changes were impacting them and what they needed, and most importantly, how could we help them? And here's what we learned. We learned that buyers that hasn't changed much in the last few years. They want what they want it when they want it how they want it, and most of all, they want the right products easily discovered. They want them at the right price, and they want it where they choose. What has changed is their actual ability to get everything that they want. With technology today, consumers are changing and reshaping the entire commerce landscape. They're the ones truly in control. You have smartphones, you have tablets, and these have obliterated the lines of offline and online. In about half of all retail transactions, consumers access the web at some point. Now, in today's shopping environment, there are several key consumer touch points. Each of these circles represents an enhancement to the shopping experience. And by this time next year, this graphic will have so many more of these little circles, and they'll be all surrounding the consumer. You see, the power in commerce lies squarely in the hands of consumers. And they're using that power to find the products they want, and the prices they want, in the places they want, and they all want this to work absolutely seamlessly together. So consumers, they love this new reality. They love the new commerce reality. But what about merchants? It turns out that meeting the needs of these consumers has its challenges. As we shaped our plans for X.commerce, we spoke to hundreds of merchants. We heard from the heads of the major retailers, and we heard about their needs to expand the footprints of their locations and to go global in multi-channel ways in a much bigger way than ever before. We heard from the online sellers trying to figure out how to keep up with this explosion of social sites. a lot of them asked about data. How do we get the data that we need? How do we make sense of the data that we have? And how do we turn that data into insights that helps our business and drives business results? So retailers of all sizes voice their need to compete effectively in a world where technology is just huge. Again and again, they said to us the same thing. They said, we're not technologists, we're retailers. We just want to create great shopping experiences for our customers. But when it comes to technology, we need help. Now think about all those consumer touch points we just mentioned. Merchants have to engage their customers against all of those touch points. And what's more, these touch points need to interoperate cross-platform and cross-channel. Think about the costs of trying to keep up with this technology pace. Unless you're a global retailing giant, there's simply no way to keep up. And then there's this challenge of trying to predict which emerging technologies will matter and which won't. Do I take a risk and be an early adopter, or do I let my competition try the next great thing and risk falling behind? All the while, they have to manage a real business. How do I manage shipping? What about keeping up with the different tax rates in different geographies, and procurement, customer relationship management tools, back-end systems, iPhone, Android, iPad? I mean, there's so many things that these merchants have to do. This is the new commerce reality. Multi-channel, multi-touch point, consumer-driven, brimming with opportunities, but absolutely loaded with challenges. Now, developers. For much of eBay's history, developers weren't a key customer for us. But that started changing a few years ago when we invited developers to create apps and to extend our PayPal platform. We took a similar approach to the marketplaces business, and as we built a developer community around those properties, the developers started telling us that they wanted to do more. They wanted to go beyond payments and listings towards solutions that would address these full needs of the merchants. And most of all, developers wanted more opportunities. It then became clear to us at eBay that with the successes of both the marketplaces and PayPal, that we had a unique opportunity to take the leadership position in e-commerce. We could take the world to a whole new level and throw the E right out of e-commerce and lead the commerce world. And so, just as Roy responded to the stories that they heard at Magento, eBay set out to directly address the needs of buyers, merchants, and developers in this new emerging commerce landscape. This is X.commerce. Launched last year, X.commerce is a flexible and scalable platform that with a single integration gives customers and community members the end-to-end commerce solutions that they need to grow their businesses and to adapt to the challenging needs that today's consumers create. And here's the great news. The great news is we're off to a wonderful start thanks to a very strategic acquisition we made just last year. Now, I'm not just playing to this audience when I say this, but Magento is truly at the heart and the core of X.commerce. The Magento platform allows merchants to be merchants. It enables them to focus on their products, on their consumers, and their merchandising. Now, to address the complexities of commerce, we need to go beyond Magento and beyond the Magento storefront to an even broader platform. The X.commerce approach starts with building on the Magento playbook, taking the approach that has transformed e-commerce and expanding it to even meet a broader set of needs. But I think you'll recognize Magento's DNA and the key elements of our approach. We begin with a broad mandate for commerce opportunity for everyone. We're focused on creating a full suite of commerce tools, a very robust ecosystem where developers and partners, you all take this to the next level. The goal is to meet the full range of merchants' needs to help them build their customer base and increase revenue with partnership with the developers. Flexibility is a key element of the X.commerce strategy. Merchants can use the capabilities they need and add or subtract functionality as their business needs change. And last, but by no least, X.commerce is open. I think that it's critical that we talk about what open means. For us, open begins with a commitment to open source. There's no mistaking the fact that Magento owes much of its success to its open commerce and open source roots. And these roots continue to nourish the Magento ecosystem. That's why we're supporting and strengthening our commitment to the Magento Community Edition, the open source platform that started it all. Bottom line, when it comes to our products, we're building on Magento's commitment to openness. But being open, it goes beyond just architecture or code. It means being open to adding partners and to capabilities that will extend our platform. It means giving the merchants and the developers the maximum degree of flexibility and choice. It means respecting the merchant's brand and the developer's opportunity and their independence. Having an open ecosystem is a big piece of this open story. But we should get a little bit more specific about X.commerce by drilling down a level. Here's a representation of the areas that merchants need to focus on to run their business. Of course, not every business needs to focus on all of these different areas, but if you look at the list, it's pretty clear that most SMBs and pretty much every enterprise-level business will need to address each and every one of these areas at some point in their business life cycle. Take into account the number of offerings in each area, the speed at which these are evolving, and the challenges at integrating these diverse systems, and you get a pretty clear picture of what they're facing. Now imagine a platform where you can easily find and access the best-in-breed solutions across the entire spectrum through a single source, and that's what we're building at X.commerce. Is this an aggressive vision? You bet it is. Now, will we achieve this in the next 6 to 12 months? No way. But we're already making tremendous strides towards delivering solutions in a number of these areas. And throughout 2012, we'll be introducing products that will deliver on the promise of X.commerce. Let's take a closer look at how we'll be creating and delivering these solutions. The how starts with effectively leveraging the assets of eBay Inc. If you look at our assets, you'll see that we're already offering a compelling solution in a number of these areas. We start in the center with Magento as well as GSI, and this is just our starting point. But I think that's a pretty incredible start. This really speaks to the difference of X.commerce and any other commerce platform. Think about it. No one else can offer the commerce assets we have. We have marketplaces. We have payment instruments, storefronts, merchant services, and most of all, beyond anyone else, we have 100 million active eBay buyers and an equal number of PayPal consumers worldwide. You couldn't ask for a better foundation. And merchants who participate in our ecosystem, they won't just be limited to eBay Inc.'s assets. Remember, we're inviting in additional shopping carts, payment solutions, and technologies that can help. It's about giving merchants choices and giving developers opportunities. And of course, these sellers, we hope, will choose Magento and PayPal, and we'll do our best to help them understand the value of these solutions. But we are not limiting who can join our ecosystem. We're already working with other carts and payments providers. And the same concept applies for our solution areas across other merchant needs. For example, Roy said we're creating the best-in-class integrations to list goods on the eBay Inc. marketplace. I invite any other marketplace to join our multi-channel ecosystem to help merchants grow. Now, why do we offer choice in all these areas? Why are we so open? Because it is the right thing to do. Simple as that. We know that we cannot do this alone. We've got a large and growing group of partners who have signed on to offer solutions through X.commerce. Now, let's go back to Adi to hear from one of those partners, Fan Player.
Thank you, Matthew.
Over there now.
Right over here. Well, we're here with Mark Schreiber, CMO and founder of Fan Player. Welcome.
Thanks, Eddie. Happy to be here.
That's great. What's your story?
Well, we've got a great story. I'm really excited to share it. Our story is about access to data powered by X.commerce and how it's going to change the entire social consumer experience and make business more profitable for merchants too.
Why X.commerce?
Well, when we heard the story at Innovate, we thought, wow, this is really going to change the landscape. It's going to make things so much more dynamic. It's going to make access to data possible for developers like FanPlayer to create these new social experiences that then can power a merchant's business.
That's terrific. What are you looking most to here at Imagine? What do you look to accomplish?
Well, you know, one of the most exciting things that we've been able to do is partner with a lot of the other developers. So it really makes a difference for our business with regards to being able to partner with companies like iFeelGoods, IQ Engines, Constant Contact to create a multi-channel experience for the merchant.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us. Back to you, Matthew.
Thank you, Adi. And thank you, Mark. It's been great to have you guys on the Commerce Fabric. So you can learn more about FanPlayer and these other partner-created solutions in a breakout session later this morning called First Stories from the X.commerce Fabric. The Fabric is where the community will connect. The technology will be invisible to merchants, but the benefits will be apparent. Ease of access to multiple solutions through a single integration. One of the biggest benefits of integrating into the X.commerce Fabric will be access to data. By connecting with X.commerce, merchants will gain access to an incredible commerce database, as well as the tools we're developing that turn this data into actionable insights. This is a company that's been connecting buyers and sellers since the earliest days of e-commerce. We understand data and its importance to sellers. And as more of them join the X.commerce ecosystem, the value of the data and the insights available to them will grow as well. Our data-enabled platform will deliver on the promise of helping them to use this data to build relationships, improve operations, and most importantly, it'll help them drive results. This is how merchants will grow and defend their business against this online behemoth who really dominates with big data. Let me say again how excited eBay is as an organization to have Magento at the core of the X.commerce business. And we're excited because we love this platform. We're excited because we share the same DNA and the same commitment to this openness. But most of all, we're excited because we get to build something new with all of you. We know it takes a village, and in this case, it takes an entire ecosystem to transform commerce. So let me say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for making Magento what it is today, and I look forward to working with you to write the next great commerce story. Hey, Hefe, come on back up.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. I've heard Matthew tell this great X.commerce story dozens of times, but it still gets me excited. What an incredible vision for helping merchants compete and succeed. And how amazing is that we, and by we I mean all of us, the Magento ecosystem are a big part of that vision. I could not imagine a more exciting opportunity. All right, and that vision will be coming to life through great products in the months ahead, but there's plenty to get excited about today when it comes to updates from Magento. I'd like to highlight some of our key announcements, starting with today's release of Magento Community Edition 1.7. As usual, this release includes more new features and enhancements than we have time to list, but the major themes include developer productivity, consumer conversion, and operational optimization. Some of the highlights include different base pricing for customer groups, automatic generation of multiple coupon codes for a single promotion, backup and rollback functionality. I'm sure a lot of you are going to love that one. And of course, something that developers have sought after for a very long time, and we're excited to have this as part of the core platform today, a REST API. And there's so much, yes, REST API, that's right. Go REST. There's so much more. Before we get into the details about our new Magento Enterprise 1.12 release, a few words about our prior release, version 1.11. 1.11 included a group of features and tools for site management, data management, and revenue generation. You can get a first-hand look at the tremendous results merchants are generating with these features in one of tomorrow's breakout sessions. The top 10 tricks to unlocking Magento Enterprise power. Make sure you attend the session. It's fantastic. Enterprise 1.11 has been breaking records in our scalability and performance studies. For example, using a setup with 2 web nodes and 1 database server, Magento Enterprise is supporting over 4,300 requests per second and more than 500,000 orders per day. That's on 2 web nodes and 1 database server. We will publish a white paper with all the results and all the recommendations in the weeks ahead. The moral of the story is this: if you configure Magento correctly, it will perform and it will scale. If you're not sure how to put together the proper configurations, we've got dozens of partners and experts right here in this audience that can help you figure all this out. So make sure to talk to the right people and get some help. I'm excited to announce the availability of Magento Enterprise 1.12, which we're releasing today. Enterprise 1.12, of course, includes all the great features that are part of the Magento Community 1.7 release. Automatically generated coupon codes, backup and rollback, EU compliance, REST APIs, and so much more. And on top of that, we've built a number of additional revenue-generating features. These features enable merchants to create a more sophisticated personal experience that will optimize their shoppers' conversion. One example is our new visitor segmentation functionality. For some time, merchants using the Enterprise Edition have been able to create customer segments. This feature is incredibly valuable for customizing promotional offers and other content based on the specific buying habits of each segment. With version 1.12, we're expanding our segmentation capabilities to include visitors, people who have not previously registered or transacted on your website. Our improved segmentation tools lets merchants identify and target the visitors with personalized coupons or promotions based on what products they viewed or placed in their shopping carts. So merchants now have the visibility they need to effectively target everyone who visits their site. Other new features in the Enterprise 1.12 include multiple wish lists, adding and managing orders by SKUs, and VAT ID validation. Once again, you told us what features you needed to reach the next level of success, and we responded. With the release of Enterprise 1.12 and Community 1.7, we're taking a tremendous leap forward on the mobile front with the addition of our HTML5 capabilities. Magento has always been on the cutting edge of mobile commerce. We've invested in both native app capabilities and mobile web technologies to offer choice to our merchants and developers. Last year, we introduced native app capability for the iPhone, for the iPad, and for the Android devices. And today, we're taking the next step in mobile, introducing new HTML5 mobile web capabilities. Now our merchants have access to a tightly integrated, yes, very tightly integrated, and elegant mobile optimized storefront that is easy to set up at no additional cost. Our HTML5 offering supports iPhone, supports the Android, and supports the mobile browsers, providing an outstanding shopping experience on the vast majority of mobile devices. Actually, I had an outstanding shopping experience using my iPhone yesterday. And fortunately for all of us, we caught this on tape. Let's take a look. I think from now on, I'll do all my presentations from the pool. And whenever you think about mobile commerce, you'll remember that pale-looking guy in the pool. And you'll remember Magento's great new mobile functionality. I had a lot of fun doing that, and thanks for the team for putting it together so quickly. Finally, I want to share an early look at some of the work we've been doing with Magento 2. Many of you have already been playing with the early beta version of Magento 2 and providing us with great feedback, which we appreciate. We're estimating availability in the first half of 2013. Magento is a refactoring of our platform that will provide improvements to features, usability, and performance. Over the past 4 years, we've learned an incredible amount about how people use our platform and how we can make it even better. We're taking that experience along with your input and pouring it into Magento 2. Some of the big themes of this project include delivering a truly modular product and a simplified customization process. This decoupling of modules will better facilitate integrations with other systems and technologies and provide a greater degree of flexibility. In doing so, we will accommodate businesses of all types. We're introducing new features and improvements for front-end developers, such as using jQuery as the primary JavaScript framework. Go jQuery! Simplification to the module structure and improved product quality with a variety of testing tools. Magento 2 will help business users in managing their businesses more effectively. And here to share a sneak peek at some of the functionality we're developing, I'd like to bring up Baruch Toledano, our Director of Product Marketing.
Thank you. Thank you, Roy. Thank you. As part of Magento 2, we've been doing a lot of work around refactoring Magento themes and streamlining the theme creation process. We're working on tools to make Magento easier to use for both merchants and developers. One of those tools is the Visual Design Editor. In the current generation of Magento software, managing website design is a technical process. Let's take a quick look at current challenges before we look at how we're solving these in Magento 2. Currently, to edit a page design, you have to know the syntax of layout updates. Most likely, this requires some technical skills. As a business user, you're able to manage Magento widgets from the back end. But there's somewhat a disconnect between the front end and the back end in the editing process. So the user experience is not always simple or intuitive. The current user interface requires a series of steps to set up a design for a website. Users have to navigate through several different admin menus. And while many of you learn to create stunning design on Magento 1, we want to make it easier for more people to create the store that they want. Let's take a look at an early version of Magento 2's Visual Design Editor to see how we're simplifying this process. To help run the demo, Anton Makarenko from our development team has joined me here on stage. OK, so the Visual Design Editor is launched directly from the backend. System, Design, Editor. So as an admin user, I can open the front end in the Visual Design Editor mode. The toolbar panel enables me to apply different themes and skins. For example, let's switch from my purple themes to my light theme, just like this. If I disable highlight elements, I can see what the real page will look like. Now let's re-enable highlight elements to edit, then switch back to our purple theme. The panel shows my current location on the website. It allows me to navigate arbitrary page type, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Now, let's look at how dragging and dropping works. In the right column, I can reorder blocks relative to each other, or I can drop them into another area. For example, I can drag and drop the list of product blocks into the content area. Note how the styling of the product list changes in the new location. You can see how much easier it will be for merchants to apply these layout changes, add or remove page elements, and modify the look of their site. The areas for dropping in the Visual Design Editors represent containers, which are essentially a new concept here in Magento 2. Here in this picture, they're marked in green. The purpose of a container is to hold other elements, such as blocks and other containers. Now let's look at a page with more containers. Here we have 3 columns. Each of them represents a container. So the logic behind a container is fairly simple. If an element is in a container, it can be dragged and dropped into another container. Note how the banner style changes from vertical to horizontal in the new location. Now, let's get back to the navigation in the Visual Design Editor toolbar. Using this tree, I can see what pages are available on the website. I can then access an arbitrary page bypassing any workflow steps that requires to get me there. So for example, let's say you want to customize my order confirmation page. Using this navigation, I can directly open Order Success page. There is no real data here because I really didn't place any order, but I can get an idea what the page will look like, and I can then customize it to meet my needs. So as Roy mentioned, this feature is in early development, but we're working on a couple of other improvements with these features. So we're refining the existing layouts with more containers so that store owners can pretty much move any blocks that they want. And we'll connect the widgets functionality in the backend area with the front end. So by enabling the editing of the widgets right on the front end. Magento developers who are interested in this visual design editor or our other Magento 2's capabilities can learn more from our team right here at Imagine. I encourage you to meet with them. You can find us on the GitHub to get the latest source code, and we update it every 1 to 2 weeks. I want to thank you for your attention. Thank you, Anton, and I'll pass it back to you, Roy.
All right, thank you, Baruch, and thanks to the incredible team of architects, of engineers, and product managers who are working on Magento 2. How exciting was that? It's a team that's truly obsessed with taking the world's best e-commerce platform and making it even better. It's clear to me, and I hope it's clear to all of you, that we've got tremendous momentum across every area of our business. Our obsessive focus on merchant success has taken us to the top of the e-commerce platform market. And our strategy for the future promises to take this ecosystem to an entirely new level of success. So that's our story so far. Now let's focus on your story. What's the story you want to write next? What's your obsession? What will help you sleep better at night? As I look around the room, it's absolutely clear that no matter what you want to do next, the people in this room can help you get it done. These next 2 days are about discovering each other's stories, learning from them, getting inspired by them, and maybe connecting your story to theirs. Share your story. Make new connections. Build new relationships. Ask the hard questions. And of course, since this is a Magento event, have an absolutely amazing time. I'm Roy Rubin, and that's my story.